All right, everyone, welcome back for round 4 of our Fantasy SXperts for the 2020 Supercross season. I'm Chase.
I'm Christian.
We are the RMFantasy SXperts, here to give you all the stats info you need to maximize your points for fantasy. Round 4, or round 3, is come and gone.
We're heading into Triple Crown territory.
I love the Triple Crowns.
Me too.
Not all riders like them, but they are fun to watch on TV. Now, if you're watching this right now, you notice we have a white number plate up here on the table. This is signed by several of the Alpine Stars riders. Who do we got on here, Christian?
That looks like Ryan Villapoto to me.
Yeah.
Aaron Plessinger, Dean Wilson,
Jason Anderson, Eli Tomac.
Marsha.
Whew, there's a lot of good names that are on this. And we're going to be giving this away to one lucky winner. And if you want to know how you're going to win, you got to stick around, and we're going to talk about it when we do the prize recap at the end of the show. If you're listening in podcast form,
got it.
You got it? We're going to talk about it here in just a little bit. But first, we got to get right into it. Here it is. It's our race recap. All right, so with Anaheim 2 in the books, here are your results. Eli Tomac grabs his first win. Ken Roczen, second place. Cooper Webb, third. Zach Osborne, fourth place.
Yep.
Jason Anderson, another top 5. And the man himself.
He loves it, dude.
The three-peat.
He loves the
Vince
wild card
Freeze,
spot. Yep.
wild card spot one more time. Pretty crazy. But what did you take away from this race?
I mean,
450s first.
Yeah, 450s first.
Okay.
Roczen gets off to a whole shot. Looked good.
Looked
thought
good.
He was gonna.
I had him in first. I had Tomac second. I thought I was sitting good.
Yep. And then
Until
Tomac
Tomac
struck.
just did Tomac things.
Yeah, I think that track really favored his style.
Yeah, he said in the interview he just felt good, and it was a track where he could do that.
It was a super tough track that only he could really dominate.
But we will talk about his starts in Triple Crowns because
Yeah.
it's not looking too pretty right now for him.
Webb bounce back week.
Yep, third place,
Podium
better
for him.
start.
Yep. The teammates kind of battling here. I'm surprised
Yeah,
Anderson faded back.
I kind of wonder what it's like going on in the rig right now between these two. I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious what people think. But Osborne, strong fourth. Jason Anderson,
Yep.
sneaky, staying in the top 5. He's going to win sooner or later. We just don't know
agree,
when.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Vince Freeze. But what's crazy is some of the highlights. Baga, obviously, we thought, he
looked
passed
so
Roczen
good.
right at the start.
Second
and then
place start.
caught that little ant hill that separated the split lane. What we talked about Jason Anderson and Zach Osborne, but we've got to talk about the 250s.
Yeah.
That's where all the talk is right now.
Just say your thoughts on it. What do you got?
If I'm Dylan Ferrandis, I'm thinking that was a stupid place to try and make a pass.
Yeah.
He was clearly faster. He could have passed Christian Craig 2 corners later, just rushed. Was he trying to take out Craig? No. So, in my opinion, people, you need to calm down with all the hate on Dylan Ferrandis.
Yeah,
it was
they're
just
freaking out.
He was in the heat of the moment. Everyone's been there, so that's my take.
I think he meant to run up on him.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just happens as part of racing.
And as a racer, you never want to make yourself crash when you're trying to pass somebody.
No.
So,
I have no problem with it. I don't see it as intentional or
Yeah.
dirty. It was just one of them deals. I don't know.
but Jet Lawrence,
That was the biggest bummer of the night.
I was so pumped. I was like, man,
know.
he's 16 years old. He could possibly win, and then to see him go down at the very last second. But talk about wheeling through the whoops.
Yeah, he looked good.
Well, he was out of control for a little bit, but it was exciting racing. I enjoyed every single part of it. What about user stats? What do we got here?
User stats was a good week. Whenever Tomac wins, it's going to be a good week. Average points were 40 points. No perfect scores still, though. Only 39 people out of the 80,000 we had playing had 5 picks right, so it was a really tough one there. But
I noticed Roczen was the most picked rider for first and second last week.
Yeah, he bumped up big time.
Wow. And still more riders had AC to win than Tomac. But Tomac did what we knew he was going to do. It took him a few rounds and then makes that charge.
I was one of them.
63% of players have Barsh in their top 5, even after qualifying. You got to watch qualifying, people. I had him up there. He qualified in like 18th. I was like, nope, not his night. I pulled him out.
He didn't look good in qualifying. I pulled him out last minute too. So,
But Freezy, though.
Vince Freeze, 11% had the wild card right. I went with Wilson last minute. I think
here.
you did too. We missed it by 1 spot. And then me and you're destroying me. You have 125 points. I'm only at 60. I did something even harder than getting a perfect score. I had 4. I had 4 of the top 5 in there. All of them 5-pointers and missed the wild card by 1 spot. You couldn't do that if you tried.
Did you try any corner after the race?
I just laughed.
Like the
Joker or
as far as injuries go, glad to report that after 3 rounds of racing, still no injuries to talk about other than riders who were already hurt before the season started. So we've got Glendale. We raced there last year. It was an exciting race, but this year it's a Triple Crown, so let's get right into it. This is our track trends.
All right, well, we're heading to Glendale Football Stadium, known for the long start.
And it's the same this year. Super long. Have you looked at it yet?
It looks nice. I like
I'm
the long
excited
starts.
for it, okay?
We all know Blake Baggett won his first 450 race there last year. It wasn't a Triple Crown, though. The 2019 results, Baggett, Anderson, Roxon, Tomac, and Muscan. Yeah. Take from that what you will. But Glendale 2020, first Triple Crown, like we mentioned, that's 3 12-minute main events.
You doing all right over there?
I'm struggling.
All right. So I like the track. Looks really cool. It looks like longer lap times. Like I'm excited for it. It's not going to break down like Anaheim did. The whoops are going to stay whoops the entire night. My question is, can Mookie get some redemption at Phoenix this year?
He looked solid last week in the whoops, passing people like nothing too. So.
And they brought back a sand section for this race.
He could redeem himself big time there.
So look at the track map if you haven't already. I do like that the start straight's a little bit longer. It's got a long sweeping left turn. I think that just kind of helps riders separate themselves a little bit. Might help riders like a number 3 who can't get a start. So let's get right into it. This is our top contenders. All right, so when we talk about our top contenders, right now we've got our guys in points up here on the table. You've got Ken Roxon, Eli Tomac, Barcia, Anderson, Cooper Webb. There's some other riders like maybe an AC, some other guys who are just outside the top 5, but we'll get to those because we still got to talk about weekly spoilers. But let's talk about Ken Roxon first. The man's riding good. He comes out, he wins St. Louis, won that race, you could say easily. But he's taken 3 back-to-back podiums only once in the last 3 seasons, but granted he has been injured. And his last 3 finishes are 2nd this last weekend, 1st, and then 6th place in Anaheim 1. But he has the best average finish and start of 3.3 right now.
Yeah,
so the man's starts are on fire. He just hole-shotted last weekend. So I actually right now I have K-Rock to win this weekend because his starts have been so good.
Yeah, you got to go with starters at Triple Crown. You gotta do it.
What about Tomac?
Unless you're talking about Eli Tomac.
Yeah, that's tough.
He's the only rider we can count on to get a bad start and fight through the pack in that shortened main.
But not always.
So. Not always, but he's the only one you can.
All right. Well, what stats are going to help back up Tomac fans? Because you said it, that right now over 50% of people already have Tomac to win this weekend.
Yeah, once he wins, that train
people
starts
bought their ticket. All right.
It's gaining steam. His last 3 finishes, 1, 4, 7, with starts, though, of 10, 12, and 11. He's finishing 7 spots better than where he starts. His average start on the year, though, was 11th. He's finishing less than 3 spots from where he qualifies, so that's been a pretty good indicator for him. His average start of 2019 Triple Crowns was 6.78 with the finish of 3.5. Not the greatest. And in each Triple Crown last year, he had at least 1 start of 10th or worse.
See, that's what stood out to me. He gets a good start, but you can always count on the guy to get 1 bad start in a Triple Crown.
He's going to get 1 bad one probably. And he's only missed the podium at Glendale 1 time in the last 4 seasons with finishes of 4, 1, 1, 3.
He likes Glendale. All right. So, Justin Barcia. So, his last 3 finishes, 1, 2, 9. We say it every week. You got to watch qualifying. Yeah. He qualified really bad, so I pulled him out of my top 5. He just didn't look comfortable.
He looked off,
All right,
sick or something.
Last year, he finished 6th at Glendale. His last 3 starts, they were good. They were 1, 3, and then he went 12th last weekend, so even his start was not good. And then in 2019 his Triple Crown average finish was 11 with an average start of 7. So I'm going to look at his qualifying very closely this weekend. If he qualifies high up on the leaderboard, it means he's feeling good. You give this man some confidence, good things happen. But with Barcia, I would say watch qualifying to see where he's
like
sitting.
12th or worse, it's going to be a riskier pick.
Yep. All right, Anderson.
Jason Anderson, still not a lot of people talking about him. He's been killing it. He's finishing 0.6 spots from where he qualifies on average. So we always know he's going to be around there. He hasn't finished out of the top 5 yet this year. I think he's the only rider that hasn't. With his last 3 finishes, 5, 3, and 5. And he was on the podium for all 3 Triple Crowns in 2018 before he got hurt in 19. So
stats are looking good for him. All right, so for Cooper Webb, his last 3 finishes, 3, 12, 3. He is looking really good to me. I feel like we're seeing the Cooper Webb that we saw last year.
Yeah, even in the post-race interview, his voice was back. He has some color to him. He looked good.
Yep, and then he hasn't finished in the top 5 once at Glendale as a 450 rider, though. He's gone 10, 8, 8 there. So
that's odd.
One thing to look at there. But, with Triple Crowns last year, he was on the podium all 3 Triple Crowns. He went 1, 2, 1. So the guy shined at Triple Crowns last year.
The champ. He got that ring or whatever.
Yeah, and he never finished worse than 6th in any main event in a Triple Crown last year. So He's my
It's
pick.
his thing.
It's his thing.
Yeah.
It is. He's very
He
good at
even
those.
said he liked them. Like you said, a lot of riders don't like Triple Crown.
Yeah.
He said he does.
So you got to pick the guys that get starts. And right now, Roxon, Anderson's been pretty consistent, but Roxon and Webb, those are the two guys right now that are just, the last two starts have been banging. So.
And where you weigh starts more, that's where we get into the spoilers.
Yeah.
Some other riders might favor.
So let's get right into it. This is our weekly spoilers.
All right, Triple Crowns are different. You kind of got to weight better starters on, harder chargers. So we got our spoilers up here. AC, Malcolm Stewart, Zach Osborne, Justin Barcia, and
Blake Baggett.
Blake Baggett, of course. Let's start with AC. Right now he has the second best average start of all the riders with a 5th place start.
But how did you feel about him last week? Do you think we've kind of seen, he crashed 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Last week he just kind of went a little bit backwards, but he just, it was a track to where if you weren't feeling comfortable, it wasn't worth it to push.
Yeah.
So.
But he's led 7 laps already.
That's true.
He's shown he can be up front.
I
had him
best
picked
average
to win.
start. So he started 7th last week. You look at the lap chart we have in the backdrop here.
Yeah.
He charged up and then kind of fell off a little bit. And
well, he was in 5th for a while, got up to 4th, and then 3/4 of the race.
Look at all those squiggly lines in like the first 7 or 8
Dude,
laps.
Plessinger.
Oh, it's just wild.
You gotta bring up his chart. Is crazy from 4th all the way down to last, back up to 15th or so.
Yeah, I feel bad for Benny Bloss too because he was charging forward. He's about in 10th place and then had a crash or something in DNF. So
major bummer for him.
But anyway,
right, back to AC.
Okay,
he's been on the podium for every Glendale race he's been at as a 250 rider. Had only the 9th fastest lap time last week, even though he was the fastest qualifier. He's been the fastest qualifier every round.
See, that's what we're starting to pick up with AC. Fastest, that dude will lay down a heater. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's going to be your top pick for the night event, the night show.
Well, his last 3 finishes 6, 7, 2.
But he could win.
He could any night, no doubt.
Okay.
The only thing is he's finishing 3.6 spots behind where he qualifies, so take that.
I do think a lot of people see him qualify first. They're like, oh my gosh, AC for the win. It's like, hold your horses, people. Look at the average, the finishes, and then make your decision there. Yeah. All right, so next we got Malcolm Stewart. I'm surprised he hasn't cracked the top 5 yet after what we saw in Monster Cup.
And there's a reason for it.
There is. Let's talk about it. So his first 3 races, he's gone 9, 6, and then 8th. But his average start is not good. It's 12th. It's worse than Tomac.
Yep, that's
you cannot, in this class, get starts of 12th or average starts and expect to do much. Tomac's the only guy we've seen who can get a bad start and possibly charge up to the front. So, and he hasn't finished ahead of where he started yet.
Or qualified.
Excuse me.
So wherever he's qualifying, it's pretty risky to put him ahead of that.
Yeah, he qualifies good, but then he's not finishing there or better. So something you want to look for with Malcolm is where is he qualifying at? And he's going to be wild card this week, 7th, which is going to be tough.
Yeah, he could be easily in that range.
All right,
too.
What do you got for Osborne here?
Osborne's like the guy I'm most high up on right now. I mean, people thought I was crazy putting him in the top 5 last week, but look what he did.
Yeah.
So his average finish of 2020 is 7.67. He has the 4th best average start this year. With the last 2 starts have been just awesome.
3rd last week, and then whole shot of the week before.
Yeah,
so he's on fire with those.
I'm liking him in a Triple Crown format just because he gets good starts.
And he's aggressive. This guy is not afraid to
he's impossible to pass.
Move over, please.
Yep, it's going to take a lot to pass that, man.
Very true.
Barcia, we already kind of touched on.
Yeah, Barcia got his stats, but Blake Baggett, like I said, we saw him. He passed Kenny. No one even knew where he came from because he didn't look very good in the heat race. He qualified poorly, but the dude shows up to race when the gate drops.
He's got history in Glendale now.
But he does. Now, his finishes have progressively gotten worse this season. He started 4th at Anaheim 1, then he went 9-14. So, but I don't think 14th is not even close to a reflection of what he's capable of because we saw what he did. Last year, he won Glendale. He dominated Glendale. So he's comfortable there. We know that. His starts at A2, or he started 2nd at A2 and his worst finish of 14th.
Yeah. So his finishes are getting worse while his qualifying is getting better.
Yeah, and his best Triple Crown was 5th overall last year. So I still have faith in Baggett.
I do too.
I said it last week. He's got a fire lit under his butt. That dude's going to crack
That's
the top
the first
5,
thing I thought when I saw him out there. I was like, holy crap, Chase was right. Chase was right.
Well, there you have it. Those are the weekly spoilers. Again, riders that could possibly crack the top 5. But now you're pretty much going to have the same gaggle of riders because Wildcard is going to be 7th this week. But we got a few others we're going to talk about. So here it is. This is Wildcard Watch. All right, so for Wildcard Watch this week, we got 5 riders on the table. Malcolm Stewart is one of them, so we've already talked about some of his stats, but if you look at the lap chart we talked about earlier, him and Brayton were 7th and 8th for pretty much the whole race. They didn't move.
7th is the spot this week.
Yes. Now, Vince Freeze. Look, people, he three-peated.
You're going to give the
Doesn't happen
Freezy
very
warning.
often, but I'm going to freeze rate you right now. Do not pick this man for your wildcard this week, and here's why. Yes, he is the people's champ right now, but if you look at his last 3 starts, he's gone 2, 14, 13. So the last 2 races, 14 and 13. The man's never been in the top 5 in any race, Triple Crown format or standard round. Do not put Freezy in your wildcard.
Nothing against him.
Nothing
He's
against
been
him.
solid, no doubt. But
Malcolm Stewart we talked about, okay? What do we got for Justin Hill?
Justin Hill's one of my kind of long shots. His first 3 finishes have been 11, 11, 12 with starts of 5, 9, 9.
Starts aren't bad.
That's where I think, he gets a good start. He's that type that can just show raw speed for 12 minutes.
But last weekend, the dude got crashed in the start, got up, and then somebody knocked him out of the air again during the main event, I think. I know he went down twice, so the dude is capable. If he gets top 10 starts, I would not be surprised to see him land in 7th place.
I'm just saying his average start is 7.3, so he gets that type of start.
He's right there.
He could be in there,
Brayton, we talked about it. He ran in 7th basically the whole race last weekend.
7th or 8th, all but 2 laps. So, and he's been really consistent, 8, 8, 7. So he's right there.
That's looking good.
That's probably who I'm
That's
gonna end up
looking
picking.
good right now.
And he finishes an average of 2.6 spots ahead of where he qualifies. Starts have gotten worse. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah. And then
6, 11.
Dean Wilson, the last rider we'll talk about real quick. So Dino, he's gone 13, 13, 10 as far as his finishes this year. His started terrible at A1, he's 21, but he's gone 8, 8.
Yeah.
So he's right there. Now, being a Triple Crown format, Dino I don't think is still yet up to race shape, but being that it's a Triple Crown format, I think he can put in a 12-minute strong main event, and if he's getting an 8th place start, that puts him right in that mix with Brayton and these guys.
He did good at Triple Crowns. He was in the top 5 of 2 of the 3 Triple Crowns last year.
Yeah, he got a 3rd overall last year. He podiumed the last one. Who's your pick right now?
It's gonna be hard for me to not pick Brayton.
Not pick Brayton.
I mean, it's pretty consistent.
All righty. I'm gonna look at qualifying, look at some of these stats, and see where these dudes qualify. But there it is. That is the wild card watch. Let us know who you're thinking about. Is there anyone we didn't talk about that you feel might be a good pick for the wild card? But I'm feeling pretty good about it this week.
We've been pretty
The stats
close
don't
on these.
lie, and we're starting to get enough rounds. We're getting far enough into the season that we can really have a good understanding of where riders are starting to sort themselves out. Where do they fit in? So good to see. But let's get him on the phone now. This is Between Two Berms with a caller that we had last year. He's a friend of the show.
Awesome dude.
Awesome Hayden. Roger Hayden. He's a brother of Nikki Hayden. So Roger, if you're not familiar with him, he races street bikes. And the family, the name Hayden resonates with all motorcycle riders around the world.
They know how to go fast.
That is very true. So let's get him on the phone. Here it is, Between Two Berms with Roger Hayden. All right, so here he is. We have him on the phone. Roger Hayden. What's up, Roger?
Not much. How's it going?
No, we're just talking fantasy over here and about Christian's Bears.
Yeah. Hey, we saw you got the podium right that last week. That was pretty awesome. How'd that feel?
It felt good because I needed it. I put a league on with all my friends, and it's not a good look whenever the guy who puts it on is down there in last. So I needed it big time to make it come back.
That's right.
Christian can relate right now.
Yeah, rub it in. Rub it in.
Well, so, Roger, the big topic right now is the 250 race last weekend. We saw Ferrandis get pretty rough with Craig. As you as a racer racing, sport bikes, you're going at insane speeds. By the way, I rode on a sport track for the first time last summer. I cannot believe how fast you guys go. I was on an R3, so basically a PW50 of street bikes, but it still blew my mind. As a racer, I'm sure you've rubbed bars with plenty of guys before. Give us your take on the Ferrandis Craig thing. Are people just overreacting completely about this?
I think a lot of the fans are overreacting, the ones that with the, threaten his wife and stuff like that. I mean, that's way too far. I think Dylan just seen a hole and was going for it because he wanted to catch Jet. And really the thing that made it look so bad is the way that Christian got off. If he would have just lost the front and fell over, I don't think anybody would have said a word, but the way it kind of hooked and threw him made it look a lot worse. So does he need a penalty? Maybe depends if he has a history of it, and maybe a couple positions, but definitely. I didn't see any need for. I see where people say he needs to be suspended and set out for the rest of the year. I think that's just overkill.
I agree.
All righty. Now, I mean, you as a racer in your career, did you ever have any instances like that where maybe you had a rider and got overly aggressive with you?
Yeah, there is sometimes, but I mean, you just know that. You would do it back to him if you had the same.
Exactly. It's,
the
circumstances
same
are
chance.
flipped. You probably act in a very similar way. So it's.
Racing incident.
Yeah, and as long as I think racers can understand that, it's like, I'd probably do it too, or I've done certain things that are pretty similar. So, yeah. But I'm with you. I think it was just a stupid move. I think he could have waited and made the pass, another turn or two later, but it's racing. That's what happens.
Yep. You're going pretty fast. You don't got a lot of time to think.
Now, Roger, this week we've got a Triple Crown coming up, so you got the podium right last week. With the Triple Crown, do you think we see the same top 3, top 4, maybe top 5, or do you think things are going to get switched up this weekend?
No, I think you'll see the same, people at the top. But for me, when we have a Triple Crown, I kind of I changed my strategy about who gets a good start.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Eli got a bad start last week, he's struggled this year. He hasn't really got off the gate in the top 10.
Not once.
So, and the races are shorter, so you don't have as much time to come through the pack. So, definitely kind of changes it. Who always gets good starts is Webb and Roxon.
Yep.
And, they're gamers, and Webb's also aggressive, so you have to be – the races are short, so you have to be aggressive. So, this could be Webb's week. I'm not sure, but, he looked really good last week, and I think he, got his rhythm back, especially toward the end of that main event when he started catching Ken.
I agree.
Yeah. So you said you haven't made your picks yet, but if I were to ask you right now, put you on the spot, who, off the top of your head, who are you thinking right now? Give us your podium for this weekend.
This weekend, my podium, I'm going with, I would say Roxon or Webb. Those are first and second.
First and
I'm
second?
not sure which one is which.
All right.
I like it.
Then I got Eli.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's going to
a pretty
charge.
consistent guy, and last year I rode Eli all year, even when he didn't, even when he wasn't winning. But I just feel like this Triple Crown, his starts aren't very good. Another guy that doesn't get great starts is like a Jason Anderson.
Yeah. But he's been good this
put
year.
him in the top 5, but who knows? I'll think that, and then they'll get 3 whole shots. So,
yeah,
it's part of fantasy.
We were talking about it earlier. Tomac, after his win last week. So last week he wasn't even near the top as far as the most picked rider to win. He gets 1 win, and now he's already over 50% of the vote to win. So people are punching the ticket early.
Yep.
Only as good as your last race. I mean, that's just what people remembered. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is, your boss or fans or what.
Good point. Only good as your last race.
Yep.
Right on.
Well, hey, we liked seeing you at St. Louis. I saw you on Race Day Live and talking to all the riders. That was pretty cool seeing you around there. So
yeah, we need to get you out here to Salt Lake for the finale.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, I love being there and getting beat down on the track. I've never seen one that close. So, man, I mean, I just didn't know the jumps were that steep. I mean, I knew they were big. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they were that steep.
No, until you do a track walk and you actually see it at level, you'll never get an appreciation for whoops or just how big the jumps are. You never will until you do a track walk.
True.
But, well, hey, Roger, we appreciate you calling in. It's good information. Glad to hear your take on the Ferrandis Craig thing. And you guys heard the man, Roxon or Webb for the win. I think he's on to something because I have one of those riders in my top 5 as well. So, again, thanks for calling in. Wish you the best of luck on your picks this weekend.
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There
awesome.
he is.
Such a good dude. I like that guy.
I like it. I love his accent. Where's he from, Kentucky?
It's thick. Yeah, the Kentucky kid.
Kentucky
His brother
kid.
was a Kentucky kid.
Oh, man. Well, there it is. Those are his thoughts. I got lisp.
I like it.
All right. Well, let's get right into it because you know what time it is.
It's time to lock him in.
Let's do it. All right, so my picks for round 4, Triple Crown, are going to be Ken Roxon, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Blake Baggett. Said it last week. I'm going to say it again. That man will crack top 5. Jason Anderson. And then I've got as my wild card, Justin Brayton. The stats are just looking too good for that man.
Yeah, at this point in time, I really can't argue too much with this. The only changes I really have is I'm going to move Webb up there to first. I just think he's coming on right now.
He hasn't won yet, but you know the man will.
It's coming soon.
Okay.
Osborne, I'm still high up on the dude. I'm putting him second just because of
Really?
his starts and how hard he is to pass. Roxon, we know, is getting. I'm going all starts here, except for AC. And then Anderson 4th. I love Blake Baggett, I really do, but there's only 5 spots, man. It's hard.
There's only 5.
So what do you do? And then Tomac 5th. I think he's going to have to charge in more than one main.
Okay.
And I like the Brayton pick in wild card, so I'm feeling pretty confident here.
There you go. Well, there you have it.
Can't
Those
get
are our
any worse.
picks. Remember, though, peeps, watch qualifying. We give you the stats, and we talk about riders finish a certain amount of spots from where they qualify each week. That's a good indicator because the stats do not lie.
They don't lie.
But in any case, also, just real quick, shout out to all the fans that watch the show every week.
Oh,
We love the comments.
the
We love
comments
talking
were going
to you
off
guys.
last week.
We try and respond to as many of you as possible. So keep them coming. Let us know who your picks are. What's your take on the Ferrandis Craig thing last week? You know, Jet Lawrence almost winning. We want to hear all of it. And we want to hear maybe what do you guys want to see differently on the show?
Yeah.
You know, what guest callers were some of your favorites last year? You know, what rider or what guest callers do you think would be cool to have on the show? So we want to hear your input on that.
Yep.
But now, we got to talk about it because we do every week, why you want to play RMFantasySX and how do you win that white number plate we talked about earlier. So here it is. This is our prizes for the week.
All right, so everybody watching should already be subscribed to Rocky Mountain. If you're not, I don't know what's going on there. You got to fix that problem. But secondly, we have an added bonus this week. We're going to give away this number plate. To be eligible to win, go join our RMFantasySXperts group. And on Monday, we're just going to pick a random winner in there, email you. We'll comment in the group too, so you know to check your email and see who wins. We'll ship it out to you next week.
And remember, number plate signed by Justin Barsha, Eli Tomac, Ryan Villapoto, Jason Anderson, Aaron Plessinger. Did I miss one?
It's all the Alpine Stars.
It's all the Alpine Stars riders. Sometimes signatures are very hard to read. But let's talk about weekly prizes and grand prizes.
That's right. Week 4, the top scorers are going to get first place a Bell Moto 9 Carbon Flex helmet. Second place, 2 sets of Bridgestone Battlecross tires. Third place, a $400 of Cherokee spending spree. Then other prizes from OGO, Pro Honda, ASV, 7 Gear, Fox V1 helmets, Fly, Scott Prospect goggles, and of course 90 Rocky Mountain gift cards. So,
All right, so those are weekly. Let's talk about grand prizes. First place, 450 Race Prep KTM SXF Factory Edition.
Factory Edition.
All right, and we also have for second place a KTM 250 SX Race Prepped as well. Also, third place, Monster Energy Cup Trip, which is going to be at a new venue next year or this year.
Should be pretty cool.
Excited about that. We've also got a year supply of Dunlop tires. That's probably one of my favorites. Alpine Stars Gear Casual Package, Tuss Impact Wheels and Honda Generator, Fly Racing Gear Package, Milestone Video Games Console, TV, and the game, Motion Pro Tool Set, and an Oakley Spending Spree.
That's right. And one more added bonus for all the SXperts out there. Use the offer code MXBoots10 for an additional 10% off Alpine Stars Closeout Boots, Friday and Saturday only.
Get it while it's hot. There you have it. That is round 4, episode 4, I guess you could call it, of RMFantasySXperts. Remember, Christian already said it. I'll say it. Subscribe to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. That way you see the alert every time this episode comes out on Fridays. Get your picks in. Go to RMFantasySX.com if you haven't signed up yet. It's free to play. Create your account, and you can always win weekly prizes. Even if you sign up halfway through the year, you can still win a weekly prize. There's no reason not to.
No, it's crazy if you're not.
There you go. Well, I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.